2026 we were going to have the Commonwealth Games, and then our Premier comes out and summarily announces his execution by saying that they're going to cancel the games due to cost overrun, or not cost overruns, but financial constraints and concerns. Basically, that it was going to cost 2 or 3 times more than was expected at the time. I raise it only because I don't know because I'm not exactly the hugest sporting person in the world, so I wasn't overtly fussed, but at the same time I did recognize the shock value of the story because it's not something that kind of happens every day.
Yes, it's an interesting situation. Now, some people are saying the costs aren't as high as the Premier said, but I think it's interesting because I can't believe that any politician would cancel something like the Commonwealth Games on a whim. So there's something or some reason that obviously has given Daniel Andrews the courage to cancel the games. I think that's the first thing we can deduct from what we've seen. But I do think, either way, that the Commonwealth Games is a friendly games. It's meant to be, 50 odd nations getting together and having, a bit of a run around and preparing, in their own elite programs for the Olympics. But like most things that are broadcast, I think, what's happened over the last few years is it's sort of been conflated to an Olympic level, and that's why the costs have gone to the levels they have. So rather than just being a meeting of elite athletes from around the world, it's now sort of kind of more a show, and with the shows come all sorts of expenses and sponsors and advertisers, etc., and I think it's far more complicated than what seems to be just a figure that's a little bit too much.
And although I don't doubt that costs were a significant concern, I did find it fascinating that the bandwagon jumped on the idea that of the idea of, are they still relevant in an environment where the monarchy is being questioned and all of that. And I just found all of that sub angle that sort of started coming out afterwards quite interesting, only in the sense that that's immediately where it went.
Yeah, well, that's right, because, it's an opinion piece that's sort of got a bit of traffic, and straight away it becomes news, doesn't it? I mean, it's a little bit humorous, certainly for me, that we'd go from cancelling the games because of cost and then saying, well, that's not true, and the Premier's not telling us the truth about what's going on, and then questioning whether the games are relevant at all. Like, if that's the case, then he's probably made the right decision. I don't know. I'm no expert, but even at $2 billion, if that's the case, then it doesn't seem much point.
Well, the ultimate conspiracy theory being that he pulled the ultimate negotiation tactic, and that somehow next week they would have renegotiated for like half the cost or something like that. I thought that was quite amusing as well.
Yeah, well, I don't think you drop an A-bomb like that and get it back a week later. I think something's happened. And, I mean, he seemed pretty firm on it. And as he said himself, he didn't find it a hard decision, which can only mean that he's very confident in his decision. So for whatever reasons, he's made the call. And, the only possible reason that any person in that position would cancel a contract like that to host the games is because the pain of proceeding would be far worse than the short-term pain he's going to cop now. So, and that would go for any politician. So he's obviously seen something and he doesn't want to wear it 2 years down the track, 3 years down the track. He's made the call.
Absolutely. The best of two bad options, or whatever it happens to be.
That's right.